This is a story to remember the great history of a second most beautiful steam-powered locomotive in history, the Riverside County Fair, the Coachella Valley Model Railroaders. You're about to ride the model rails on the Coachella Valley Model Railroaders' second most beautiful DCC-powered steam locomotive, the Queen of Steam, the Black Beauty, one beautiful steam engine like the daylight. This is the 611 Class J, the Norfolk Western. In the early years, steam engines were almost always painted black. Many were built for the following locomotive works in Philadelphia. Their bright golden red number silver badges stood out against the jet black boilers. At first, the early boilers were fired by wood, but that soon became impractical as the railroads crossed the open grassy plains of America's heartland, where forests weren't nearby. Some engines were converted to coal, others to oil, but like the CVMRR freight train of the Coachella Valley Model Railroaders, these engines were still painted black for practicality. And the CVMRR Express train was another great steam locomotive painted black with the same golden number badge. As time progressed, payloads increased, and so did the size of the engines. Southern Pacific 4449 Daylight Express pulled the greatest passenger train excursions in America, from Portland, Oregon, and down to the faraway Golden State country of California. Her giant drive wheels stood taller than the average man. The GS4 484 Southern Pacific Daylight steam locomotive was first built in 1938. Then she became America's Freedom Train in 1976. And the GS4 484, the Norfolk Western number 611 Class J, was first built in 1941. Then she retired in 1950, but then they got her running up again and she was back in service and running back on steam. There has been a lot of great history of these great beautiful steam engines built in the 19th years, and now we continue with the Norfolk Western on the entire layout of the Coachella Valley Model Railroaders. Early one Saturday morning, people from the city of India were invited to see the Norfolk Western at her home at the Coachella Valley Model Railroaders. On our day of the open house on March the 9th, from 10 to 2 p.m. the train will be running all over the entire layout, the 5-hour long run. Today, I was in charge of the train. Once the entire train was all set up and ready and quickly inspected, it was now time for the Norfolk Western Express to depart from the parking yard of the lower track. The train's 5-hour long run on the entire layout was about to begin. The 611 Class J has slowly departed from the parking yard of the lower track. Ahead laid more tracks as she slowly starts off, and then she'll start picking up more speed. Other trains that were running on the layout ran really great, like the steam engine Santa Fe Express. Norfolk and Western 611 ran really great on the entire layout. She now started to pick up more speed as we continue to follow her around the layout, as she continues to run really great and really fast. I let the 611 go a little bit slowly this time so that people could take a few great video shots on their phones and cameras, as the train ran really great on the layout.
There's a long black train coming down the line, feeding off the souls that are lost and crying. Rails of sin, only evil remains. Watch out, brother, for that long black train. Look to the heavens, you can look to the sky. You can find redemption staring back into your eyes. There is protection and there's peace the same. Burning your ticket for that long black train. 'Cause there's victory in the Lord, I say. Victory in the Lord. Cling to the Father and His holy name. Don't go riding on that long black train. There's an engineer on that long black train, making you wonder if the ride is worth the pain. He's just a-waiting on your heart to say, let me ride on that long black train. But you know there's victory in the Lord, I say. Victory in the Lord. Cling to the Father and His holy name. Don't go riding on that long black train. Well, I can hear the whistle from a mile away. It sounds so good, but I must stay away. That train is a beauty, making everybody stare. Its only destination is the middle of nowhere. But you know there's victory in the Lord, I say. Victory in the Lord. Cling to the Father and His holy name. Don't go riding on that long black train. I say cling to the Father and His holy name. Don't go riding on that long black train. Yeah, watch out, brother, for that long black train. That devil's a-driving that long black train.
Norfolk and Western and her 11 cars and water tender ran really great on the entire layout as she continued ahead. The engine has passed by a green signal as then it turns red for the train behind it to stop on the main line. As the 611 exits the parking yard of the lower track, it now enters right to the tunnel, and after that, it will stop on the main line into the parking yard of the Union Station. The Norfolk and Western 611 will now enter the siding of Union Station. After that, it will now head up to the upper track, climbing up to the mountain. It was now the time for the Norfolk and Western 611 to head up to the upper track to the mountain. The entire train pulled into the siding of Union Station for a quick first inspection. The engine and tender, and of course the water tender, were the first ones to be inspected and make sure that they were still in good condition, and that the coupler was still on the right height from the tender to the water tender. All 11 cars of the Norfolk and Western were the last ones to be inspected, from the locomotive, from the water tender to the entire train. The entire train ran really great today on the lower track, around half of the layout, and now we'll see how it will run on the upper track heading up to the mountain. After the Norfolk and Western was now done with her quick inspection, it was time for her to head up to the upper track, heading right up to the mountain. And now she was on her way again, as the Norfolk and Western 611 Class J was now on the upper track heading right up to the mountain. This was the biggest mountain where the Norfolk and Western she will cross over, where the daylight she had crossed over before. This big mountain was almost like a huge giant volcano. As the engine and the 11 cars started to do their first climb on this part of the upper track, she had no trouble with the climb this time. The train went a little bit fast this time, so it can get up to the upper part of the mountain as quickly as possible. And now the train has reached climbing up to the mountain, as it went a little bit slower this time. Imagine just watching this train for real as it was actually climbing on the mountain, to picture the reality of an HO train from the real trains as they climb up on the mountains. For almost 5.5 hours, we followed the Norfolk and Western all around the layout, but on this part of the track, it is one of the greatest shots that you would see. Just picture the reality of this train on the mountain. On the other side of the mountain where the train was passing, there was a little forest fire going on. As the fire team continued to put the fire out, it was a great real look to this part of the mountain on the layout, and an awesome one too. And now the train has passed by the small village that was up on the mountain close to the little forest fire. The train pulled into the parking yard of the upper track, where I had to service and inspect the engine and tenders. It was really great to have this entire Norfolk and Western run really smoothly on the entire layout. After the train's quick inspection was now finished, the train continued to head up on the upper track, still climbing up to the mountain. These were some great film shots of the mountain that was on the layout when the train crossed over. Then the train continued her last final journey down the canyon. The Norfolk and Western 611 was back in the siding of Union Station so that people can look at her before she was taken back into the parking yard to be put away. The Norfolk and Western 611 Class J was the second most beautiful entire train of the Coachella Valley Model Railroaders, just like the Daylight. The entire train ran really great today on the entire layout for our day of the open house. It has been such a great day to follow the Norfolk and Western all around the entire layout for our day of the open house. We hope you enjoyed watching this great movie of the Norfolk and Western at the Coachella Valley Model Railroaders as we now close down the final chapter of this story.
I'm going where them chilly winds don't blow. Gonna find a true love, that is where I want to go. Out where them chilly winds don't blow. Sing you a song, sing it soft and low. Sing it for you, baby, and then I'll have to go out where them chilly winds don't blow. Wish I was a headlight on a westbound train. I'd shine my light out, cool Colorado rain, out where them chilly winds don't blow. If you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling low, remember that I loved you more than you'll ever know. Going where them chilly winds don't blow. I'm leaving in the springtime, won't be back till fall. Ooh, if I can't forget you, I might not come back at all. Out where them chilly winds don't blow. Out where them chilly winds don't blow. Out where them chilly winds don't blow.
The Norfolk and Western 611 Class J is the only surviving engine of its kind that still manages to run under steam. Thundering down the tracks, the Norfolk and Western was the second beautifulest steam engine ever. I'm George Mendoza. Thank you for watching.